各位觀眾大家好，歡迎收睇26分鐘見證實錄。本國嘅新冠疫情喺去年已經有緩和嘅跡象，咁有唔少嘅行業已經係回復至疫情之前嘅水平。咁但係本國就面對長期以嚟勞工短缺以及本地人才流失等嘅問題，令到唔少職位出現空缺。咁根據本國嘅統計局嘅數據就顯示職位空缺同失業率比例創下歷史新低。為咗解決長期積壓落嚟嘅問題聯邦移民部長喺去年嘅11月就宣布一系列嘅移民政策，預計每年可以引入50萬名外來移民。對於呢一個政策，各方面有啲乜嘢嘅睇法呢？初嚟到加國嘅人士喺呢一個新地方，又是否容易融入社區嘅生活呢？
其實咧係一個配套嘅問題嚟嘅，咁我覺得咧，即係加拿大係好需要增長呢個人口嘅。
吸納移民被認為係聯邦政府近幾年政策嘅重中之重，但就惹嚟自唔同質疑嘅聲音。
I actually don't think they have a plan that will allow them to bring in that many immigrants and find immigrants that will fit our workforce。
咁你講到房屋嗰方面咧，就其實呢個房屋係有呢個大嘅需要，咁樣亦都需要咧，其實3級政府咧聚埋一齊嚟處理，嚟點樣解決呢個房屋嘅問題嚟嘅。
If it is thoughtful, if it is orderly, and if it is controlled, okay? There is no taste in the Canadian public for out-of-control, massive numbers of immigrants coming into the country for a number of reasons.
加國係一個由移民組成嘅國家，每年加國移民部都會透過唔同嘅移民項目吸納唔同類別嘅新移民。與此同時，亦都會有其他嘅臨時政策同埋援助計劃，將嚟自其他國家嘅人帶到嚟本國生活。就好似喺去年2月，俄羅斯總統普京授權軍隊對烏克蘭進行特別行動，舉兵入侵烏克蘭，令唔少烏克蘭人民流離失所。戰事至今仍然未結束，而為咗人權考量，本國喺去年隨即訂立咗一個名為 CUAET 加拿大烏克蘭緊急旅行授權計劃，為烏克蘭民眾提供一個臨時居留途徑。去年8月份嚟到卑斯省嘅 Dina 透過呢一個計劃前嚟本國。Dina 現時喺高貴林工作，佢嘅工作係一名髮型師。佢表示啱啱到埗已經意識到尋找房屋居住係一件唔容易嘅事。
Yeah, I understood. Yes, it was very difficult to find a house because for newcomers we don't have any history, credit history. We just arrived and we just start, and everybody from every owner, every landlord are afraid because if somebody sometimes you cannot pay or they are worried. But I found a job, a work, and my employer she supported me and she said if you need from support or to call. To explain about you, I can do this, and I was very thankful because I found very quickly work, and my employer supported.
Dina 表示佢嘅丈夫率先嚟到本國，並喺機場發現一啲機構可以幫助新移民。
They helped us, and they say, "Don't worry if somebody goes wrong." Because you just can come or can connect to WorkBC, and they will help you with everything to find a work, with information. And I said, okay, we have a lot of information, but we must keep connect with WorkBC. And if government promised something, they did. And I said, okay, just trust and do. And continue what they propose. And if go good, okay, we can go.
對於加拿大仍然面對房屋供應不足以及其他資源分配不均等嘅情況底下 ，Dina 對於呢個情況仍然抱住樂觀心態。佢就認為本國有好多就業機會，以及得到政府適當嘅支援，因此唔會擔心未來。
Everybody think about this. and especially my family think about this, and I thought. And I think I will not worry about this. I can repeat many times because government, if promised something, they did it. And I said, Canada have work for everybody, and with Work BC, like this organization, can help and can support different people, different nationality, and different immigrants. And just start and be calmly, and when government do everything what promised, you can build your future, your life in this country. And for everybody, for every family, it will be more calmly and confidently to build something for future, especially for your children, for your family. And I'm relaxed, not to relax, but I'm thankful and I trust government.
嚟到新環境 ，Dina 表示自己已經適應呢一度嘅生活，同客人溝通亦已經冇好似以前咁樣咁怕醜。
When I just arrived, I start to work. I was very shy to have a conversation with my customers because I have a big experience about hairstylist, but in our country I spoke in my language, and here I was shy. But just take a time, keep relaxed, take a big breath and calm, fresh thing in your mind, and I can continue. And customers are very excited to speak with me because so quickly I found the work, so quickly I learn English, and they are very excited and interesting about my life, and they come back to want to eat, to something to understand how I do this.
喺聯邦政府嘅2023至2025移民計劃當中，每年吸納50萬名新移民，但呢一個數字仲未包括任何喺透過加拿大、烏克蘭緊急旅行授權計劃中嘅人士。不過計劃列出，如果好似 Dina 呢一類人士抵埗加國之後，有意長期留喺本國，佢哋係可以透過唔同移民途徑申請長期居留。但作為新移民，初嚟報到一個需要重新適應嘅新地方，唔單止係起居飲食，甚至工作以及其他個人所需，都需要得到協助。而當佢哋唔識得點去面對嘅時候，好多時都會非常彷徨，唔知道社會上有一啲志願機構一直為佢哋提供服務，例如中僑互助會一直有一個專為新移民提供協助嘅計劃。
其實我哋中僑互助會咧有好多唔同性質嘅俾新移民享用嘅服務嘅，咁其中當然個主力咧就係安頓移民嘅服務啦。咁如果佢一去到嚟到我哋加拿大嘅國家，好似 BC 省嘅話咧，咁佢哋已經就可以咧就係收到呢一啲移民安頓嘅服務噶啦。譬如好似點樣認識加拿大嘅好似房屋方面啦，或者係做工方面啦、求職或者係呢一個自立嘅，即係business即係佢哋好多唔同嘅需求啦。譬如好似托兒嘅服務啦，或者係喺即係我哋用交通工具嘅資訊啦，同埋究竟應該點樣可以即係攞到一個譬如好似 mortgage 啦，或者係呢一個喺嗰個 banking 嗰方面應該點樣處理啦。咁種種嘅服務咧，我哋都係提供俾佢哋嘅，係免費嘅服務。
除咗提供個人所需嘅服務之外，周潘坤寧就話服務亦都包括為新移民介紹認識社區，俾佢哋更加容易融入社會。
咁另外一方面咧，我哋亦係有一個叫做社區嘅聯繫嘅，叫 community connection。 社區嘅聯繫係究竟係點樣咧？就係希望佢能夠即係了解到佢即係喺安頓喺邊一個社區咧，亦係能夠知道咗佢哋即係嗰個社區嘅有啲咩嘅amenities 或者服務啦，譬如好似local 嘅 library 啦，或者係知道佢哋有啲乜嘢嘅即係社區有啲咩嘅服務啦，就算係房屋嘅服務或者係托兒嘅服務，亦係可以知道呢個社區可以提供有啲咩嘅服務啊，同埋醫療都係好緊要嘅，因為一個新移民咧，咁佢呢啲即係比較嘅 basic needs 啊，我哋覺得咧係好重要，佢哋融入去呢個即係加拿大嘅社會，了解到佢哋即係雖然佢哋亦係有好多嘅技能係帶嚟加拿大，但係佢亦應該咧知道咗加拿大有啲咩可以係幫到佢哋嘅即係嘅策略或者措施嘅。
唔少新抵埗加國人士就認為啱啱前嚟本國有唔少嘅地方咧，都仍然係摸索當中。而民間有唔少嘅志願團體去協助佢哋適應新嘅生活，但係就仍然有唔少嘅聲音質疑當局聯邦政府推行嘅2023至2025移民計劃執行力嘅可行性。佢哋所擔心嘅又係乜嘢呢？我哋下一節翻嚟再睇。歡迎翻嚟節目時間。本國喺近年仍然係處於房屋短缺以及醫療系統面臨崩潰等嘅情況。但係咧喺去年就推出一系列嘅移民政策，令到唔少嘅公眾就擔心會唔會令到本國嘅資源分配不足嘅情況加劇？又擔心政府是否有足夠嘅能力推行呢啲嘅政策。
聯邦政府最新公布嘅2023至2025移民計劃，預計每年可以引入50萬名移民。去到2025年，本國將會錄得150萬名新移民。新政策將名額大大提升，可以話係對一班打算移民到加拿大嘅人士嘅好消息。但同時，社會上有唔少聲音指出，本國近年相繼出現醫療系統面臨崩潰情況，擔心新政策會更加令現時嘅情況雪上加霜。聯邦移民部長菲沙就認為，正正吸納更多新移民，能夠解決當前某些短缺情況較為嚴重嘅行業。
In fact, we've developed a new tool specifically to allow us to select workers more accurately that are going to help alleviate some of these concerns. We're looking for new pathways that are going to build the talent that we need, pipelines for the talent that we need to come to Canada to fill key gaps in the labor shortage. We have a new ability that will kick in this spring that will allow us to bring healthcare workers to parts of the country that need more healthcare workers, that will bring in skilled tradespeople who have the talent to bring homes into the parts of the country that are experiencing housing shortages. We also have new flexibilities that are pushing people through regional immigration programs, such as the Atlantic Immigration Program, the Rural and Northern Immigration Program, and the Provincial Nominee Program, to get people more effectively into parts of the country that have the capacity to ensure that they are going to settle successfully. And all of the increase in numbers also comes with an increase in the contribution towards settlement services that we provide to make sure we don't just get people here, but we set them up for success after they arrive.
熟悉移民法嘅律師就認為，每年50萬名移民呢一個數字，只係政府官方嘅一個宣傳口號。但如果政府能夠將真正移民人數以及供應需求控制得合理嘅話，相信執行能力唔係一個問題。
This is a bit of a numbers game. So I think that in Canada there is great support for immigration if, and this is the big if it is thoughtful, if it is orderly, and if it is controlled. Okay, there is no taste in the Canadian public for out of control, massive numbers of immigrants coming into the country for a number of reasons. Because, as you know, Canada provides a social net, a social security net that is comprised of several levels and including services for people who are indigent or people who are elderly. And I don't think that the public will be very receptive to have massive numbers of people who are going to come and be unemployed or collect welfare, etc. So that's why I think that the support for immigration exists, because up until now, we have had a fairly stable and controlled and orderly immigration system, notwithstanding the fact that there are a lot of problems with like the refugees coming through the U.S. border illegally, or people coming on false passports, etc. That's a separate matter.
令唔少民眾擔心聯邦政府推出嘅移民計劃，其中一個原因係本國現時正經歷房屋需求過剩、供應不足嘅情況，再加上喺去年樓價一直高企，令唔少民眾轉到租務市場。若果吸納更多移民，擔心資源被分薄。律師 Sergio Caras 認為政府應該需要喺房屋方面作出長遠規劃，否則當大批移民到埗之後，令房屋供應問題加劇，後果將會不堪設想。
So you're looking for rental, right? And there is no rental accommodation that is affordable and is decent. And that's due to a number of problems that have nothing to do with immigration, but have to do with municipal and provincial politics, rent control, etc. But if you are going to bring all these people into the country, where do you expect them to live? They're going to be looking for apartments, and there are no apartments. So that's a huge problem. A recent survey has indicated that approximately half of recent immigrants have expressed their desire to leave Canada due to the fact that the cost of living is too high. So this is a huge deterrent to good immigration. If the cost of living is too high, people feel that they're not going to get ahead, notwithstanding the fact that they are working and earning. But if you tax them to death, and if you make everything very expensive, people are not going to stick around, right? It's a big problem. It's a big problem. So that's going to have to be resolved at some point.
但聯邦新民主黨移民政策評論員關慧貞就唔同意新移民將會分薄房屋資源。佢認為有人對新移民產生誤解。
咁樣第一咧，大家就應該知道咧，啲人移民嚟到加拿大咧，咁樣我諗第一或者如果啲人個 assumption 就係話啲人移民嚟到加拿大咧，就係靠政府嘅，就係冇為翻加拿大有貢獻嘅。咁樣呢個對我嚟講咧係錯誤嘅睇法嚟咯。我哋自己都係移民嚟到加拿大，嚟到咁多年嚟到加拿大，從來未食過政府供俾我嗰啲錢嘅，全部我哋即係都係做工。為翻加拿大嘅貢獻，當然係支持我哋家庭啦，但係亦都為翻加拿大嘅貢獻出嚟嘅咯。所以咧，如果我哋覺得話，哇，你俾咁多移民嚟到加拿大咧，全部嚟食晒政府嗰啲等政府養佢啊，俾晒啲醫療佢啊，俾晒啲房屋佢啊，咁樣我覺得呢個睇法係錯嘅。
佢認為房屋短缺根本問題在於唔少人士將房屋當作賺大錢嘅方法，忽視真正需要嘅人。
咁你講到房屋嗰方面咧，就其實呢個房屋係有呢個大嘅需要，咁樣亦都需要咧，其實3級政府咧聚埋一齊嚟處理，嚟點樣解決呢個房屋嘅問題嚟嘅。咁樣呢個房屋問題喺本地又好，即係其實最大嘅問題，房屋嘅問題就係呢一個 affordability 嘅問題咯。無論你租屋又好，同埋呢一個買屋又好，呢個就係一個重要嘅問題。咁樣其實有好多唔同嘅方式，政府係可以處理嘅。咁講到其實房屋起出嚟最主要係咩嘅咧？係俾人住噶嘛。咁其實我哋應唔應該用房屋嚟做好似當係 stock market 咁樣等嚟炒屋，等啲人賺大錢，就等到有好多人咧，其實冇辦法可以買到屋或者租到屋啦。其實要處理就應該用呢啲方式去處理，就唔好話用房屋咧嚟變咗係好似個 stock market 咁樣等人賺大錢。其實應該房屋就應該用翻佢最重要嘅目的，就係俾人住嘅。咁樣如果你係用呢個立場去做法咧，我亦都相信咧，我哋係可以解決到我哋呢個房屋嘅問題咯。
新嘅移民政策除咗引起大眾關注本國當前所面臨嘅醫療系統崩潰，又擔心房屋短缺以及各項福利將會被剝奪。除咗上述因素，有唔少人士真正擔心嘅係政策嘅後續情況，例如喺近幾年移民部處理嘅簽證申請積壓問題情況嚴重。根據聯邦移民部截至去年12月數據顯示，移民申請個案已經較去年9月底減少35萬個積壓個案，但整體仍然有超過200萬宗積壓個案。聯邦保守黨移民政策評論員湯傑密就認為當局只係開空頭支票。
So, I mean, the target number in year 3 was intentionally designed to grab headlines. That's all they wanted out of it. I actually don't think they have a plan that will allow them to bring in that many immigrants and find immigrants that will fit our workforce so those people can actually find a job as quickly as possible and start earning an income to make a contribution to Canadian society. They have a 2.4 million application backlog. They've still failed to explain how they're going to reduce the backlog. I had the immigration minister at committee, and I reminded him that we have almost doubled the number of staff at his department since 2016. We've more than doubled the budget since 2016. He was asking for an extra $1.2 billion, and the backlog has not been reduced. And the backlog was at 1.8 million before the pandemic. So I made sure, that he couldn't blame the pandemic because the backlog was already huge. So it's grown since then by 600,000. And now he's proposing basically to take 500,000 applications and throw them into the backlog. And I asked them whether that was dignified and compassionate, to give people false hope that they'll be able to come to Canada and restart their lives.
湯傑密擔心政府長遠嚟講，究竟係咪有能力處理龐大嘅移民數量？
Now the average is 72 days, but I have constituents where the portal tells them it's 199 days or longer in some visa processing offices, depending which part of the world you're trying to come to in Canada. That's true for almost every single immigration stream is backlogged. You have to wait years for an answer. And even if you wait the years for an answer, sometimes you don't even get one. Like it might be a no at the end of 4 years, and you're kind of, well, I'm out of options right now. So like the Liberals have created a backlog, but they've also created a systemic problem at IRCC of just incapable of processing applications. Like it's much more compassionate to tell a person no immediately and an explanation why than make them wait 4 years and then say no.
移民部長菲沙就積壓個案作出回應，佢話相關部門已經增派人手，而積壓情況已經得到改善。
We're going to be able to reduce these backlogs. And I'm very pleased to share that on permanent residency, we are now back to the pre-pandemic level of service that we enjoyed when it's 12 months for family reunification. It's now 6 months for somebody to go through the express entry process. And our wait times for work permits and study permits by the end of this year will be roughly back to the pre-pandemic levels. There will be a little bit of time into next year before tourist visas get back to the pre-pandemic level of service. But by and large, the service standard we enjoyed before COVID-19, we have more or less returned to now with some limited exceptions. And things have been markedly improved over the last couple of months compared to this time last year.
對於點樣解決，又或者點樣釋除公眾對政策執行嘅可行性，聯邦新民主黨嘅關偉晶認為應該喺簡化申請程序。
其實我覺得咧要 efficient 啲，應該咧就唔需要佢哋要再重新呢啲嘢，其實應該要俾個即係 automatically 再俾個 permit 佢哋，咁樣你就唔使要再重複佢哋自己要申請嗰啲人又辛苦，又要等啦，咁樣然之後政府佢哋 process 又辛苦 ，process 得又慢。咁樣然之後嗰啲 employer 等緊想請嗰啲人咧，又等到頸都長，又揾唔到人，又心急。
而聯邦保守黨嘅湯傑密就同關偉晶嘅睇法一致。
So I think there's a lot of opportunity for process simplification. So I'll give you a few short examples. So of course, if you've made an application in the past, there should be an ability for you to say, I would like IRCC to keep my documents on file for a certain amount of years. We've moved now to a digital processing system as of this past September, because before it was paper applications for most streams. So like the move to a digital system is good, that's fine. But things like interviews should be done on Zoom. There's no reason why they can't be done on Zoom and recorded and kept on file. So then there is no disagreement when a visa officer says no over what was said in the meeting. because then there is a recording that can be used during the appeal and say, this is what was said. If there was a translator, this was a translation, and the visa officer is covered on both sides. And things like that simplify the system.
好啦，今集嘅節目時間咧又差唔多啦。咁如果觀眾對我哋嘅節目有啲乜嘢意見嘅話，係好歡迎大家以電郵嘅方式同我哋聯絡㗎。我哋嘅電郵地址係 mag26@fairchildtv.com。如果觀眾想重溫翻今集嘅節目，亦都可以上到去我哋嘅網站3w.fairchildtv.com， 點擊節目重溫一欄就可以睇得翻㗎啦。下星期同樣時間再同大家見面，晚安。